guys, I'm just Genshin and welcome to a very special video. Conflict has been brewing amongst the friend group for the past couple of weeks, ever since our boy Yeti came out and dropped his fruit tier list. Many a fight has been happening. Are you supposed to chew on pomegranate seeds? Are you supposed to spit them out? Which is better, a Granny Smith apple or a red delicious apple? I am here once and for all to settle the score, to give you guys my opinion on all of, well, this isn't every, there's like a billion fruits probably, but at least the fruits that are listed here in this tier list fashion. For your viewing pleasure, I will be ranking each of the fruits listed below from S all the way down to D, which is the way the school system, school system skips E. Why do we skip E and go straight to F? I've never understood that. And why don't we give out S's in schools? Think about this. I may have just fixed the entire American education system. Probably some bigger problems than that. Or if I've never had it, I'll obviously shove it down here in the never had it section. In fact, I may go through really quickly because I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm embarrassed, there's a decent amount of these that I've never had. So we may start things off by just going through the list quickly and going over the ones that I've never had so that you can laugh at me or judge me instantaneously, and then we can get into some proper rankings. That way my thought process doesn't get super messed up. But anyway, yeah, our boy Yeti did this first, uploaded it, link to his in the description below, and our boy Not So Livid did it, link in the description below, and we've also had several members of the Just Genshin community do it as well. If you are interested in sharing yours, you should join the Just Genshin Discord, link in the description below. There's a lot of links down there, you can click them all. If you want to make this tier list of yourself, I will have the link to this tier list called Ultimate Fruit Tier List, labeled, and you can fill it out yourself, and then you can either save a screenshot of it and you could upload that to the Just Genshin Discord, or if you're like a fancy content creator, you could record your video doing it like I'm doing right now, and you can even upload it into the foods channel, as I believe our boy Jag did. So if you are interested, go ahead and do that. Okay, let's get started. Oh, a little preface here because it gets tough. So we're talking about the fruits, and when I'm ranking these, I am going to be ranking them purely as a fruit themselves. So what I mean by that is blood orange is a fantastic example. Let's take a look at blood orange right here. I have never consumed a blood orange physically. Now, I have had tons of blood orange flavored things, drinks and candies and things of that nature, and I love them. So I'm sure that I would love this fruit, but because I've never had the fruit itself, we are not going to be ranking it. We are going to put it in the tier that is true, which is I've never had the fruit itself. Similarly, let's say, look, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Cherries, for example. A cherry, you can have the cherry, the fruit itself. You can have cherry flavored things like cough medicine, which is why I don't like the flavor of cherry. You can have cherry pies. You can have cherry chunks in your ice cream, cherry Garcia ice cream. All wonderful applications of the cherry. I am just going to be looking at the experience, the flavor, the taste profile of eating the fruit itself. I don't care what other magical uses it has. I don't care that cherry flavored stuff is one of my least favorite flavors out there. I'm going to be judging it purely on the fruit itself. Okay, I think we're good. Now that we got the stipulations out of the way, I'm not gonna be, factoring in flavorings or different uses, just the fruit. Okay, let's quickly go through and let's assess and address fruits I've never had, which is a significant amount. Let's talk about apricots. This looks like a fake peach. Is there peach on this list? Where's peach? There's no peach? Oh, there's peach right there. These look like twins. An apricot looks like a peach that just got back from like, I don't know, like Panama City Beach or something, was tanning a little bit. Never had it. If it tastes similar to a peach, I'm sure it slaps. I've had it. I do not know what a black currant is. I've never had it. I've had it. See, cranberry's a little tough because I've obviously had tons of cranberry flavored things, and I've had cranberry sauce, and I think I maybe have even had a cranberry pie. I don't know if I've just eaten a pure cranberry before, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that I've never had it. I have never had a date. I'm pretty sure dates are dried plums, if I'm remembering that correctly. It's similar to a raisin, which is weird that that's on here. They have raisins on here as well, and raisins are just dried grapes. So I don't know why you count that one twice. Feels like cheating to me, but we'll get to it, don't worry. Dragon fruit. This thing looks like, I've never had it. It's wildly too exotic for me. It looks like cookies and cream ice cream. Actually, you know what it looks like? You remember that trend that lived for about a week on the internet, which is pretty long in terms of internet terms. You remember that trend when people would like have things that looked normal and then they cut into them and it turns out it was cake? That's what a dragon fruit looks like. You would expect the inside, if this was a real fruit, to be pink or match the exterior in any way whatsoever. And instead you have this strange cookies and cream dotted center. I've never had it, but it looks cool. Durian I've never eaten. I've heard it's smelly and stinky. I'm honestly wanting to put the durian, even though I've never had it, in the D tier, just for that mission in Super Mario Sunshine where you have to kick the durian across Delfino Isle into the basket to get a shine sprite. That's pretty close to putting it into D tier just for that alone, but I've never had it, so that's illegal. I have had Fig Newtons, but I've never eaten a fig itself, so that will go into the I've never had this. Gooseberry is not real, so I'm gonna put that into that tier. I've had it, I've had it, I've had it. Lychee. I thought this was L-Y-C-H-E-E, like a lychee berry, lychee berry. I don't know, Momo from Avatar: The Last Airbender loves eating these. They kind of look a little concerning, to be honest with you. I'm a little scared of them. I've never eaten it. Lychee is like something when you go to like a gross local craft brewery and they only serve IPAs. Lychee is the kind of crap they're like, it's essenced with lychee berry, and you taste it and you're like, this tastes like hairspray. Never had it. Lime, mango, nectarine. Nectarine also looks like a fake peach. Could we just stop with the fake peaches? Peaches are so good, we only need peaches. Let's stop making fake peaches. I've never had a nectarine. Orange, papaya. Passion fruit. Passion fruit is something I've certainly had flavorings, many flavored passion fruit smoothies and drinks and things of that nature, but I've never, I don't know what that's weird. The inside of that looks fake. It looks like a diagram of like the anatomy of a cell. Like that's the cellular membrane, that's the cell wall. Mitochondria? Powerhouse? Yeah, it's in there somewhere. Had it. I've never had a persimmon, but I love, dude, symmetry. Symmetry gets me going. There's some serious symmetry in the inside of that persimmon. I've never had it. Plum, pomegranate. We'll get to the pomegranate. Pomelo. This looks like lime, but if there was no actual edible portion of lime, like what if you had the saddest lime of all time and it was just the skin? Never had a pomelo. Banjo, I would prefer if you didn't throw up while I was ranking these delicious fruits, because that's going to cause a little bit of issue. Red currant, never had. Starfruit, beautiful, never had. Tangerine, watermelon, honeydew. Asian pear, I've never had. Guava. Sorry, I don't even know if I've had guava juice. I've certainly never seen this before, but it looks delicious. Custard apple, if it tastes like custard, I'm in. Ground cherry, that's not real. Kumquat, for the name alone, I would love to try it, and it looks like a nice little citrusy kind of fruit. Citrus, as you will see as we get through this tier list, top tier. All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased an easel, no thank you. Raisins. Jackfruit. I've never had jackfruit. Jackfruit is the fruit that they use, like vegans use, to do like imitation pulled pork, I'm pretty sure. It's kind of stringy and meaty, despite Yeetus saying that a cherry is the meatiest of all of the vegetables, fruits. Never had it. Mangosteen, that's like a band or something. That's not real. Rambutan, that is a percussion instrument, I'm pretty sure. And it looks like, have we checked on Elmo from Sesame Street recently? Because it looks like he got fixed, perhaps. Is a sour cherry different than a black cherry? Because this just looks like a black cherry. I'm gonna say that I've never had a sour cherry, but if a sour cherry is just a black cherry, then I've had it. And a white currant, okay. So, very cool tier list. As you can see, I haven't had about half of the fruits involved here so far. So we're off to a very good start in that I haven't had about half of the things. That's okay though, that's okay. Now we get into the meaty stuff. So these fruits don't count. I've never had these. Maybe we'll try them someday. That would be a fun piece of content, to maybe try all of the fruits that I've never tried before. Now we get into the important stuff, the actual rankings of all of the different fruits, starting with red apple, green apple. I'm not putting them in C tier. Do not, I could see some of you guys going to the dislike button instantaneously. I'm just putting them up here so that we can discuss them ever so slightly. So I'm not gonna repeat too much. My boy NSL nailed this. And this is tough because there are multiple species of green apple and there are multiple species of red apple. So am I supposed to like average all of the green apples in the world? Your Granny Smiths, that's the only one I know about. Does Yellow Delicious count as green even though it's yellow? I don't know. And then do I average all of the red apples together? Your Honeycrisp, your Fuji, your Pink Lady, your Red Delicious garbage? Do I average all of those together and give it a P? I don't think so. Honeycrisp has like little flecks of like yellow in it as well. It's a beautiful apple if you've never seen one. They're big and meaty and chunky. I'm going to take this as Granny Smith apples and Red Delicious apples. I'm gonna parse them like that because the problem is, if we're including Honeycrisps in here, a Honeycrisp is the #1 variety of apple. It's crunchy, it's sweet, it's massive with a little bit of tartness, super juicy, so good. We would need to create a new category. Even though this includes Red Delicious, Honeycrisps are so good, we would need a higher echelon. So I'm gonna call this just Red Delicious, and I'm gonna call this just Granny Smith. And I know I'm gonna upset my boy Yeetus here, because I think he is absolutely insane for suggesting that Red Delicious apples, are better in any way, shape, and or form than Granny Smith's. And I'm even more confused by the fact that he described the red apple as juicier, tartar, and crisper, because that's exactly how I would describe a Granny Smith apple. The consistency, you'll learn, consistency is important for me in these fruits. A Granny Smith apple is usually very dense. When you bite into it, you get that Hollywood crunch. You get the crunch when you're ripping off of it. When you bite into a Red Delicious apple, very often, it's like you're biting into a wet sponge of sorts. It has little to no, it just like crumbles underneath the pressure. It may as well be made of moon sand. I guess juicy is kind of a word, but it's like juice mixed with sawdust, so you have this bad combination. And again, this may be a difference between the US and the UK. Maybe in the UK, Red Delicious apples are a different variety and they're actually great over there. In the US, Red Delicious apples are what they give you at like cheap continental breakfasts, plural, when you stay at like a $22 a night hotel. And a green apple, oh, they also give you these at like elementary school cafeterias. So that should be a good testament to where they give you Red Delicious apples. Granny Smith apple is a little bit more expensive, both in terms of price here too. Red Delicious apples, they're like, they'll pay you to take a bag of Red Delicious apples away from the store. You start to pay a pretty penny for Granny Smith apples. Honeycrisp apples are so unbelievably expensive that I actually can't afford them. Red Delicious goes into the D tier. Granny Smith apple goes into the S tier. One of my favorite things to do with a Granny Smith apple is cut it into slices and then get a scoop of peanut butter and then the nice tart. Very sour. I love sour flavor profile is delicious to me. So Granny Smith, just for being more sour, just flavor alone separates these dramatically. When you include the gross texture, for some reason, like the skin even, when you bite into the skin on a Granny Smith apple, it mostly just like, you can chomp through it pretty easily. Red Delicious apples almost have this like melted plastic, kind of waxy coating on them. The skin is like thicker. So, and then the fruit itself doesn't have any give. It just like mushes under your mouth. So very often you're ended up just like chomping on the skin for a while, whereas the skin blends nicely into the crispiness of the Granny Smith apple. Okay. Granny Smith, I will take basically no arguments here. Granny Smith, S tier. Red Delicious, D tier. Avocado, as a millennial, I mean, I'm in a kind of a weird spot. I was born in 1995, so I'm like right on the cusp between millennial and Zoomer. I think I have a lot of qualities of both of them. I say stupid slang unironically, like Liddy, and for a while I definitely said bomb.com. So I think I've got a lot of the millennial stuff. Oh, and also like the inability to like move up in the corporate world. Like that is something I share definitely with the millennials. Boomers, if you could retire already, that'd be cool. But I also share a lot of things with Zoomers as well. For exact, like the lack of desire to be alive. I'm kidding. Existential dread though, definitely, definitely up there. I think I relate more to Zoomers than I do to millennials. However, I have to say millennials are 100% right when they rank the avocado. Maybe not. I think a little bit of my Zoomers pulling me back. I'm not gonna put avocado in the S tier. I'm gonna put it in the A tier. It's obviously more savory. I honestly consider avocado to be a vegetable. I guess it has a seed, so by law, where's tomato on the list then? Where's tomato? By law, this is technically a fruit, but typically in my brain, like the seed rule doesn't matter. To me, it's like, is it sweet or is it savory? Not that all vegetables are savory, but you know what I'm saying. Is it sweet or is it non-sweet? Sweet is typically reminiscent to me of a fruit, and an avocado is not sweet. However, that doesn't mean it's not delicious. Avocado on toast, tremendous. Avocado on a burger, tremendous. Avocado in a Sammy. Sometimes we do work catering. And we get some Panera Bread Co. and I get the Chipotle chicken sandwich with smashed avocado. Tremendous. Guacamole, tremendous. It's very good. The only downside I would say about avocado is A, it's very fattening. And B, it goes bad so fast, and nobody wants a gross brown avocado. There was a while where I was buying avocados and making my own avocado toast every morning, but you basically have to eat avocado for like 3 meals a day, otherwise your avocados are gonna go bad. And I'm also not very good at determining from the outside whether or not you have a ripened avocado. So usually I just baby out and I buy the pre-packaged guac packs, and then I just put guac on my toast, and I call that avocado toast. Okay, avocado is A tier. Bananas. Okay, speaking of a fruit that goes bad so fast, here's the problem with bananas, and I like them. The consistency of a ripened banana is great. The consistency and flavor of a pre-ripened banana or a spoiled banana is atrocious. And the window, the nice thing about green apples, or even, well, red delicious, not so much, but most apples, you can buy a bag of those suckers, stick it in your fridge, and it's good for like 3 weeks. You can eat them slowly over the course of your consumption of apples. Bananas, you gotta move quick, man. And they only sell them in like bushels of like 5. Usually 5 is about as small as you can get. Now, if you're sharing them amongst a house, that's fine. Maria doesn't really like bananas, so typically if I buy bananas, I'm eating the bananas, and I'm eating one with breakfast and one for bedtime snack, and there's still usually only like a 48-hour window where they're viable to eat. I mean, you can eat them outside of the window, but like peak banana. A peak banana is really good, but because that window is so small, I feel like I have to hold it against the banana. Oh, you could turn it into banana smoothie or banana bread. You could freeze them. That's too much work for me. By the way, let me know, how do you open your bananas? Do you open it from the stem part, or do you open it from the little nub at the bottom? I'm interested. I open from the nub. I'm gonna leave them right here in the B tier. I think the banana experience, well, unless you're in middle school, in which case you just can't bring a banana to school because all of your male friends will make fun of you for eating a banana. I think the banana eating experience, the flavor, the texture is pretty good, but because it's such a small window upon which you can enjoy it, I gotta hold it against that. Blackberries. Blackberries, a little sweet, a little tart, kind of a little bit of a pain in the butt to eat. NSL was correct when he said that they do stay in your hands and they get like all up in your teeth and you're crunching on these like little seedlets. I think the taste is good, and you put these bad boys in a cobbler and ooh baby, or a jam, and all of my problems melt away. I don't often find myself just going out and grabbing handfuls of blackberries though, for whatever reason. It makes me feel like I'm like a Neanderthal out there surviving. And I'm a hunter-gatherer, and I had to just grab the nearest bushel that I could. I don't know, something about the actual consumption of the berry itself. But flavor profile, it's pretty good. I think I'm gonna put it at C. That's not a slight. Look, I'm trying to get a good even spread here. And I like blackberries, but in the grand scheme of all fruits, not my favorite. Blueberries a little touch and go as well. I definitely like blueberries more than blackberries. They have a similar problem where I feel like a Neanderthal eating them, and they're so small. You gotta grab these like massive handfuls at a time. No seeds, no noticeable seeds in these compared to when you're chomping into a blackberry. My biggest gripe with a blueberry is typically, again, you give me a blueberry pie or a blueberry jam, out of this world. Blueberry muffin, oh gosh. They pair well with nice things. By themselves, the flavor is kind of subtle, not crazy, and the texture usually isn't my favorite. Little mushy. depending on the blueberry you get, whereas blackberries are a little bit more crisp. I think I actually like blackberries better than blueberries. I'm gonna put blueberry in the C tier beneath blackberry. Next we go to cantaloupe, and while we're here, let's go ahead and grab honeydew as well. I know we're going out of alphabetical order, but that's fine. But this is the easiest D tier of my life. I will put these underneath red apple. Honeydew and cantaloupe both have so little or no flavor whatsoever as to nearly be offensive. Fruits are mostly known for like these bright, vibrant colors and flavors and sweetness and sourness. And then you got these guys that are just like the biggest squares at the party. And speaking of at the party, for some reason they always get invited into like fruit cups and fruit mixes and fruit salads when they shouldn't be there. These are the rice of the fruit world. What do I mean by that? They add these to like nice mix things just to pad it out a little bit. Just to make you think you get a fruit cup and you see the grapes and the berries and the pineapple and you're excited. And then you open the fruit cup and you see the entire inside of it is cantaloupe and honeydew. They just pushed all the good fruits out to the side to get your attention. And what you actually have is mostly flavorless garbage.
Nobody ever wants honeydew, but it's always there.
It is literally the worst part of everything it's in. It's like the Jared Leto of fruits.
There's a reason they don't make cantaloupe pie or honeydew pie. The flavor's not good, man. Coconut. I know what you're thinking. Wow, you've actually eaten a real coconut, not just coconut milk. It's true. In 5th grade, this is funny because in an Isaac episode the other day, I just talked about our 5th grade themed parties every quarter, one of which was American Idol. If you want to know what songs I sang in that, go watch that Isaac episode. We had another themed party in 5th grade that was Hawaiian themed. And for it, we had some sort of, I think it was a hula hooping contest, a limbo contest, and something else stereotypical. And the winners each got to bring home a coconut. That was the prize, was a whole coconut. And I won the limbo contest because I'm the most flexible man alive. Just kidding. But I did win somehow. I do not remember how. But I got the coconut and I got to bring it home, and my parents were like, what the heck are we gonna do with a coconut? So we brought it out to the back patio. We smashed it with a hammer. We lost most of the inside milk in the process because how do you smash it but maintain the milk? I think you're supposed to like drill a hole in and then you stick a straw in and you drink it. We smashed it with a hammer, lost most of the milk, got a little bit, and then tried to scrape some of the fruit from the inside. So I've actually had a coconut, and I'm here to tell you that a coconut is not very good. I'll put it red apple above it. Cantaloupe and honeydew still the worst. I love actually coconut flavored stuff. You like pina coladas, delicious. I love the flavor of coconut. Coconut milk is okay, it's fine. I'll use it in things from time to time. I'll drink it straight up from time to time. It's not offensive to me. The process of eating this fruit is impossible. Smashing it with a hammer or drill it requires a DeWalt power tool set in order to accurately eat this fruit. That alone is enough to put it in the D tier for me. I also am not a huge fan of even like shredded coconut on like a cake or a cookie or something like that. I'm not a huge fan of the texture. It's like you're chomping on grass. If you think that the chomping on blackberries and blueberries makes you feel like a Neanderthal, chomping on coconut makes me feel like a failed Neanderthal. Like I went out for a hunt and this was all I could bring back was some straw. Not a huge fan of the crispy, grassy texture of it. Okay, next we got cherries. A cherry is a solid A tier. As I said, I'll put it above avocado. Like I said, cherry flavored stuff I hate. The fruit itself, a wonderful experience. The only thing stopping cherry from being in the S tier is that in the middle of every single cherry, you've got that seed, which not only you have to be careful while you're chewing. I've chomped down on a cherry before, and if the seed lands point side up directly into like the bottom of your molars, or even worse, the space between your teeth, call a doctor, because I'm going to the ER. It hurts like a mother. So you gotta be really careful when you're chomping on these not to shatter your teeth. But it's also a pain. Like I used to bring these to school and I would like bring a separate plastic baggie to spit the seeds into. And it's just kind of a gross experience. Yet don't you dare tell me you eat the cherry seeds. I will actually lose my mind. But the flavor's wonderful. The flavor of a cherry is wonderful. I don't know why I hate cherry flavored things so much. Probably because they tend to make like cough drops and medicine cherry flavored, and that just like bad connotation. but I don't think cherry flavored stuff tastes like actual cherries at all. Actual cherries are delicious. Grapefruit. Grapefruit is a D tier for sure. Absolutely a D tier. I don't know if this is because I have that special, what is it, like the chromosome or the hormone that makes cilantro taste like soap to me, and also makes my like bitterness receptors pog off. But this tastes like nail polish remover. Anytime I've had anything, grapefruit juice, anything with grapefruit in it, I may as well be drinking Windex. Like it tastes wrong. It tastes foul. It causes my tongue to shrivel up. It is much too bitter as to not be enjoyable. Remember in SpongeBob when he like sticks his tongue into Gary's food? That sentence could have gone horribly wrong. Remember when SpongeBob tries Gary's food and the second his tongue touches the food, his whole body shrivels up like a raisin? That's what I feel whenever I eat a grapefruit. Not my favorite. All right, now we've got red grapes and white grapes. These are both baller. Red grapes and white grapes are both baller. I will down a bushel of these bad boys, no problem. The picking of them off of the little stems and then the washing of them is kind of a tedious process. But once you have them washed and in a plastic container, the ability to just pop in and take handfuls of them at a time is wonderful. In terms of flavor profile, again, I tend to defer to sour. So I do think I like white grapes slightly better than red grapes. I don't think they're quite good enough because of the annoyingness of picking them off the stem. I'm not gonna quite put them up into S tier, but they're very close. They are both A tier. They're like, the difference between them is like white grape here, red grape here. Like it is a very small difference. Slightly prefer the flavor of white grape. I like white grape juice better. I like white wine better. Slightly prefer the flavor profile, a little more tart. Kiwi. I've only had a kiwi one time. It's a little weird. You've got this little fuzzy fruit here that you wouldn't think. It looks like a piece of sporting equipment, except for the inside. You wouldn't think it's good. It's actually pretty tasty. Like if you just eat the kiwi slices, they're pretty darn tasty. I think I've had it in like a fruit mix or something before. It's honestly been such a long time that I can like barely remember the flavor profile of it, but I remembered being like, hey, I would eat this again. But clearly it didn't like change my life enough because I've never eaten another kiwi since then. So we'll stick it in the low B tier. Lemons and limes. Lemons and limes, very similar. Let's start with lemon. Now here's a toughie. Lemon flavoring is like my number one. Lemon cookies, lemon cake, lemon shortbread, lemon anything, lemon bars. My number one favorite flavor of anything. It tastes like spring. I like lemon itself as well. You put lemon in your tea, you put lemon juice in you put lemon slice in your water. Very rarely am I just chomping into a lemon. I don't know many people, if anyone, who are just like, hey, if you went to a friend's house and you were looking for a snack and he threw me a lemon, I would call my mom to come pick me up because that's like a huge warning sign. Lemon is fantastic in many things. It's very good. And a lemon slice in a lot of things is good. A little bit of lemon slice on top of a nice salmon fillet. Tremendous. But are you chomping into the lemon after you eat the salmon fillet? Probably not. You're probably leaving the lemon. So for that reason alone, because I said I was not including the juice, I'm not including juice, not including, what do you call it? Applications, not including flavorings. I gotta judge it just as a fruit itself? Does the zest count? I think the zest counts, but no one just eats the zest. You put the zest in stuff. I'm gonna put it in C tier. I'm sorry, I love lemons. I'm a huge fan of lemons, so to put it in the C tier hurts a little bit. I think I gotta put limes there too. They're very similar fruits here. I like lemons a little bit better than lime. Limeade is fantastic. I love a little slice of lime on the edge of my margarita. Lime has less applications. Like I love lemon meringue pie more than I like key lime pie. But again, nobody's just cutting into these and chomping into them. So I used to sometimes. My grandma used to make sweet tea, and she would make like a big pitcher of Lipton sweet tea and put a bunch of lemon slices in. and then I would just like slurp on the leftover lemon that she didn't like, the ends that she didn't want to throw away. Sometimes I would. The thing I also like about a lemon, just imagine chomping into a lemon. Your tongue is watering right now. You have no control over it. These things control my life. Okay, I'm gonna put lemon up to B tier. I actually have just chomped into a lemon before, and I do enjoy the experience. I love the sour. I don't do it often though. If we were judging based on juice and flavorings, this bad boy would go way to the top, but most people aren't just chomping into a lemon. Okay, we got a couple more. Mango, honestly delicious. Honestly, a mango is delicious. I don't get them often. My buddy Dan, his parents often have mango, so I go over there every now and again, and sometimes I'll steal a mango from them. For whatever reason, I don't get them for myself a lot, but flavor is wonderful and tropical. They're usually very juicy. The only thing I don't like about it, it depends on the kind of mango you get. They can sometimes be a little stringy on the inside. Sometimes I don't know if that's like a ripening thing or a different species of mango. Sometimes you bite into like a mango chunk and it is a wonderful, not chewy, but like puts up a little bit of resistance and it feels great. And then at times you bite into it and it's a little stringy, gets like kind of stuck in your teeth. That's not my favorite. Just depends on the mango you get though. I'm gonna put this at just below bananas. I think bananas are better than mango. I'm gonna put that in the B tier. Oranges. Oranges are the easiest S tier of my life. We are going to go ahead and knock green apple finally down a peg. Oranges are wonderful. They're portable. They're easy to peel. You can use a special tool if you want to, but you can also just rip your thumb into them. They are probably maybe the juiciest fruit out there. They are delicious. They have seedless varieties, which is wonderful. The juice is wonderful. We're not judging the juice, but if we did, it's tremendous. It has cooking applications. You can use the orange zest. The orange it's got tons of vitamin C, helps you when you're sick. S tier, easy S tier. Do you have a papaya? Papaya I've only had a single time. And to be honest, I'm gonna put it in the D tier, below red apple, but let me explain to any papaya lovers out there. My papaya experience was probably, I'm assuming, greatly hindered. We were at Walmart, which is not a great place to buy fruit in the first place, and Maria saw a papaya, and she had just gotten a TikTok recently about how eating the black papaya seeds makes you like poop out parasites. So she was like, I'm gonna try it. So she bought the papaya. Then we got home and then, I'm not gonna say she babied out, but she said, I'd changed my mind. I don't wanna eat the seeds. I don't want parasites to come swimming out of my butt. So she decided not to eat the seeds. And I was like, well, you're at least gonna eat the papaya, right? Like you're at least gonna try the fruit. And she's like, yeah, but not yet. So she waited and she waited and she waited and she waited and we waited and we waited and we waited. And then like a month went by and this thing just sat in the fridge for about a month. And then finally one day we cut into it and we were like, let's give it a try. I'm sure this thing was just rotten to the core by then. It didn't taste very good. I wasn't a huge fan of the taste or consistency. Maybe that's just papayas, or maybe it's the fact that it was a month old. So I'm putting papaya in D tier, but it may not be the papaya's fault. Peach. Peach, 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 peach is S tier. It is slightly worse than an orange, but it is still delicious. Whether you're eating like a canned peaches where you've just got the chunks, which is my preferred way to do it, or if you're just biting into a peach itself. I know the fuzz on the outside is a little bit weird, but to me, it doesn't really hinder the peach experience. It is bright, sweet, juicy, tremendous flavor. Eating around the pit in the middle, a little bit annoying, and of course it's kind of just like a giant cherry. You gotta find a spot for that pit when you're done, but you gotta find a spot for the apple core when you're done, unless your name is Yeetus, in which case you just eat the cyanide out of the center. Yeah, the flavor profile, the juiciness of a peach, absolutely wonderful. By the way, we're getting to some slappers. Like there's some slappers in here. Not so much a pear. A pear is not a slapper. I'm gonna put a pear beneath papaya. A pear is a red delicious apple in disguise. It has changed itself ever so slightly. It has grown slightly oblong. It has changed itself to green to try to trick you into thinking it is a green apple, but do not be deceived. Very often in your elementary schools or in your continental breakfast, these two bad boys are sitting right next to each other holding hands. Red apple, red delicious apple, and a pear. One and the same in my opinion. They taste the exact same and they're both garbage. Okay, I'll put it above papaya. They can continue to hold hands. Pineapple, maybe the #1 fruit of all time. Does it go on pizza? It absolutely freaking does, but we're not here to talk about that. I just had a pineapple bacon pizza yesterday. Pineapple is wonderful. The only annoying thing about a pineapple, and it's a, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and throw watermelon here as well. I know they're not exactly related. These two back to back are probably my number one, my number two favorite fruits. Pineapple and watermelon back to back. And I think I prefer watermelon slightly more. I'm gonna change that. Pineapple is more flavorful than watermelon, but what these both excel at is being tremendously juicy and flavorful. If you get a ripe watermelon, if you get a bad watermelon, it can be a little subdued, not super exciting. A good watermelon is bursting with delicious summer flavor. I hate summer. It is my least favorite season. This is the only thing that keeps me going for those 3 months, is a little bit of watermelon. Now, the downside of both of these, if there is one, they lack the grab and go capability of an orange, a peach, an apple, etc. There's a little bit of prep work that goes into it. You gotta cut off the rind of the watermelon, you gotta dice them into cubes. You gotta cut off the rind of the pineapple, you gotta dice it into cubes. If you can suffer through the tough preparation process, what you are rewarded with is bundles, Tupperware containers full of delicious, juicy fruit. The only other potential downside, mainly with a watermelon, a pineapple I can usually crunch through pretty fast. If you cut a watermelon, a big watermelon, and you live with someone like Maria who's not gonna eat the fruit, you are gonna be eating watermelon for the next month because you have so much, and your whole fridge is going to be filled with buckets of watermelons. So much to the point where some of it started to mold last time. So you gotta eat it often and quickly. And also it's gonna take up some valuable fridge space, but the flavor, the juiciness, the general eating process, too good. These two will remain here. Watermelon is my number one favorite fruit. Pineapple is my number two favorite fruit. Depending on the day, these could switch, but this is how I'm feeling today. Frick! I forgot about plums, dude. Oh, frick, I forgot about plums. I'm gonna put plums. I love a plum. I'm gonna put it below oranges. I love a plum. They have a similar peachy issue with where they've got this huge pit. They're also like an awkward size where like you can eat one apple or one peach and you're like, I'm good. But they're small, but they're not small enough like a grape where you can just pound a couple handfuls and be like, I'm good. Ideally, you should probably eat like 3 plums, but I feel like you would get some looks if you kept going back to the fridge and getting another plum. What do I love about a plum? The taste. The taste is wonderful. It's super, super sour. You have a super juicy consistency here. Juicy. The juicier the fruit, the better. Juicy, sour, tart flavor. The fruit on the inside has a nice texture that I enjoy. It's not mushy, but it's soft. The skin on the outside is not as like, sometimes if you bite into like a green apple and the skin's hard enough, it can like go in between your teeth and like feel like you're flossing, which is not exciting. This is more like supple. It's got more of like a, almost like a, it bends like skin kind. I don't want to think about that too much. It's not like a human skin kind of thing. A plum is wonderful. For some reason, I don't get them very often. It's not like you're, like up here, I feel like is your very watermelon, pineapple, orange, peach, green apple. These are like your core fruits. Like everyone thinks of these as the core fruits. No one thinks of plum very often, and myself included. I should more often because I love them. Pomegranate, all right, the great debate. This is the reason, the pomegranate is the reason this tier list exists. Because we one day found out that our boy Yeti Hype eats the seeds of the pomegranate. He bites it into slices, he chomps into it, and he just goes for it. He starts crunching them and downing them. Whereas Maria and I take a handful of pomegranate seeds, put it in your mouth, create a vacuum, slurp the juice out, spit the seeds out. The flavor of a pomegranate is bomb. The juice is tremendous. I love the flavors. Sweet and tart. It's pretty juicy, but the juice is contained in those little pods. The only issue is it's even worse than a watermelon or a pineapple. The prep time on this bad boy is a big old pain in the butt. Now, I guess if you just treat it like an apple or an orange and you're just chomping straight into it, you're fine. To me, I gotta factor in the annoyingness of having to consistently spit out the seeds. And no, I'm not just gonna change and start chomping the seeds. Have you seen the episode of Rugrats? I ain't growing a pomegranate tree in my belly. Now, that being said, the flavor of pomegranate is still so good. The juice that you slurp from the fruit itself is still so good. I'm gonna put it in the B tier just below a banana. Raspberries, you know what? I'm just gonna put all the berries next to her. I do think I like raspberries the best. Raspberry, blackberry, blueberry. I got similar feelings about all these three. I think raspberry is my favorite of the three. Next, we've got strawberry. Strawberry is an A tier for sure. It's a strong A tier. It is weird being one of the only fruits where the seeds grow on the outside. I'm gonna put it above cherry. I'm never upset to see a strawberry slice mixed into like a fruit mix or something like that. I'm also never upset. Back when I did keto, which I would not recommend, it's a nightmare. Back when I did keto, strawberries are one of the lowest carb fruits. These bad boys were lifesavers. Sugar-free Cool Whip plus strawberry, put it in there. Oh, that's like a dessert in and of itself. These bring back some bad memories of being on keto, but also like they were my savior. So I got a lot of respect for the humble strawberry. Also very easy to eat. They come in the little plastic container. You take a bite of a couple, as many as you want. You throw the... Yeti, tell me you don't eat the leaves at the top. Please tell me you're not eating the leaves. You take a chomp into it, leaving the leaves, you chuck the leaf away. Very easy, very tasty. Probably my favorite flavoring of anything, like the pink starburst. We're not including flavorings, but if we were, it might be even higher. Not as juicy as grapes though, so I'm gonna put it slightly below the two types of grapes, but it's still an A tier. Tangerine is just like... I actually like tangerines even more than oranges, I think. They're very similar. Tangerine is usually a little bit easier to peel and a little bit easier to eat. They are seedless typically. Oranges you can get seedless, but sometimes you do have to chew around and spit out some seeds, which is not as fun. A tangerine is like the perfect little poppable size. I'll just peel this bad boy and put the whole thing in my mouth and then just enjoy the juice. An orange takes a little bit more prep work. Tangerine is easy, just dig in there with a thumbnail, get to town. And finally we have raisins. Raisins are weird because it's technically just grapes, so I'm very confused why they've given these a separate category, but we will judge them nonetheless. I'm here to tell you that as long as a raisin is not popping up in like a cookie where I thought it was a chocolate chip cookie and it turns out to be raisins, that's disappointment, but that's because you're comparing a raisin to chocolate. When you're comparing them to the other fruits and a raisin in and of itself, I think it's pretty good. It's got some good chew. It's got the flavor profile of the grape. They used to come in those fun little boxes that you could, on a hot summer day, they would just all be stuck together, which is kind of gross, but you would just eat the whole brick at the same time. But I think they're pretty dang tasty nonetheless. They're a nice little snack. I would put these above pomegranates, but below bananas. Am I content with this tier list? We've got like a binomial distribution here. Trinomial? Is this a trinomial distribution? I have no idea, but I do think that I'm content. Ladies and gentlemen, let me scoot this down ever so slightly. There you go. Take your screenshots, put clown makeup on my face, do whatever you must do with it. This is the definitive fruit tier list from S, A, B, C, D, and I've never had this. It may be fun someday to come back and try all of the fruit that I've never had. Maybe I don't know where the heck I'm gonna get like an Asian pear or a lychee. I don't know where they sell those, but maybe I'll start doing some research and maybe we'll do a taste test. Maybe we'll bring back Just Eaten and we'll try some of these. But for the fruits I have eaten, there is your definitive list. Watermelon being the #1 fruit of all time, and its melon brethren, Cantaloupe and Honeydew, rounding out the bottom of the tier. I would move Cantaloupe and Honeydew to an F tier if they existed, and everything else would stay the same. But other than that, I'm pretty content with this. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, feel free to fill out this list yourself if you got something interesting you'd like to share. You can join the Discord. We have a food channel where you can post it. I am interested to see your fruit opinions as well. But with that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.